So while I wait on the rest of the parts I need to complete these RS4s, I figured it was a good time to break out the HotBodies Tornado. This is a four-wheel drive belt-driven nitro 2-speed made by HotBodies, which is basically HPI, and it's of similar quality, pretty much, you know, the same plastic and same metal quality as the RS4s. Shares the same dimensions for the bodies, and it's pretty much a belt-driven RS4. It's a really cool car, definitely underrated. I've acquired a few of them for decent prices. Started off with this one here with the Nissan Silva body. I did a full rebuild on both of these, and I know one of them, they both have the original engines. I know one of the carb boots, I think it's this car, it disintegrated, so I'm gonna have to figure out another engine for that one. But yeah, I've had these two for some time, and obviously you can see that they're incomplete. Got these two for dirt cheap, and I got this other one here, which is in decent shape, for under $100, so that's pretty good. Unfortunately, one of the teeth is chipped. It also came with this little batch of parts here, which is pretty nice. This car actually has got a good amount of parts available to it, and they're relatively cheap. So, came with one drive shaft, this top deck here that's carbon fiber, a couple belts, shock tower, and after looking at this gear a little closer, just looking at the writing on it, it really does look like an HPI gear, even though they're not the same part number. So after examining it closely and deciding that they're close enough, I decided to just go ahead and buy one. So we'll test replacing that gear with an HPI one to see that the parts are direct swap. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is use these two to complete this one, and I've got to look in my HPI bodies to find something to cover it. I've got something pretty cool I think I've got in mind for it. I'm not going to use these super wheels that came on it. I'm going to repurpose these. I've got some super projects to work on as well, so they'll go good with that. So that's pretty much the plan. So yeah, I'll put this stuff away, and I actually have a pretty decent amount of parts for this project, or this platform. So we'll go over what's in here. Alright, so here's everything that was in the box. There's a ton of parts. And as I was taking these parts out of the box, I remembered that most of them came with the first car that I got. And I remember it was actually on eBay for a while. No one wanted it, and the price kept going down. So once it got low enough, I don't remember what it was. I think it was around $140. Came with all the plastics you see here, some of the drive shaft stuff. This is a couple of open parts, but most of it's there. And you can see all the hubs, the rod ends, shock bodies, front and rear suspension, you know, the block holder, whatever, I don't even know what these are called, but where the pulley goes for the differential, front and rear. So yeah, there's 4 different piles there that are doubles, and I've got 2 spare gear sets, so I'll have to compare this with those HPI ones. Comes with some clutch bells, you know, pinion, whatever you call them. Yeah, they are pinions actually. And I've got a couple of fronts, 3 rears, and 1 center belt. This header here was already open and the gasket's missing, but that's not a problem. I've got plenty of those. Some drive shafts, pivot balls, some rods, some transmission stuff here, and I actually found this separately. So that's a good parts haul there. To do some rebuilding. So this actually is not going to be a problem to get going. I know that one of the pulleys in the front is messed up and one of the belts is messed up, so it's good to know that I've got those replacement parts. This is going to be a fun rebuild. This is the body I'm going to use for it. I got that from my buddy Reese a while ago. I just held on to it. So I've got some nice wheels that'll go in on the car with that. Like I said, I'm going to repurpose these. So we'll get this stuff boxed back up and figure out what the next steps are. Maybe show what's under those lids there. They both have the stock engines and stock exhausts, so pretty basic. Like I said, they're pretty much like an RS4 2 belt drive, but better. It's like a RTR R40 almost. Yeah, so this is the one that I said that the carb boot disintegrated. So I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do for an engine here. I think they both had the Fortec wheels, and I borrowed them for a different vehicle. That's why there's no wheels on them. But yeah, this one, I remember running it last, and it did run good. It's pretty clean, you know. The chassis on this one's cleaner. But yeah, I think I also need to make sure the gas tanks work, because the lid on this one was acting funny. This is just a spare tank that came with the lot. I found these servos in the parts as well, so that's pretty good. But yeah, that's what I've got here for the Tornado. It's an underrated car, and it's going to be fun to build up that third one. Use parts from those two to complete this, with some new stuff as well. And then whatever is still good and usable from the driveline, we'll just have for spare parts. So it'll be interesting to see overall between the other 3 cars what's broken. So you can stay tuned to see this. I think I'm gonna hold off on digging into it before I finish the other RS4s. I just don't want to have too much going on at the same time. So the parts for these 2 are almost here. I've got a couple of differentials, complete pulleys for it. So I've got some belts and what else? Something else for it. Another set of pulleys, but I just need the belts to complete one. We'll at least get the 2-speed one going. But yeah, we'll hold off on the Tornadoes until we get the RS4 done. But yeah.